Yeah, that was, well, introduce us, Al.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Netherblock, the show where we build a 64 by 64 by 64 block of netherrack in Minecraft.
Oh, jeez.
I'm Tony.
That work. I'm Komet.
I'm in a portal.
I'm Al.
Joe. Oh, close the door behind you, jerk! They're coming.
And today, the episode is brought to you by our featured patron, Alor20A6. Thank you for being a patron, Alor.
Alor.
Don't mock their name, they give us their money.
You mock everyone! You've been nothing but salt since we got on the Discord.
Yeah, like you
just
instantly started
cosplaying
out
that guy from Star Wars Episode 8.
Wait, what? Which one?
The one whose only line is, salt?
It's salt. That defied my expectations.
Oh, I'm bad at this whole...
You weren't expecting that, were you, Joe?
I thought it was snow. I haven't even seen the movie yet. That's the one I've absorbed just through osmosis.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new Star Wars either.
Really?
Or Star
The
Trek.
Solo?
What?
What?
I haven't seen Solo, and there's like a new Star Trek that came out recently
Really?
that I haven't seen.
People still watch Star Trek?
Someone
we,
just
in the
got
80s?
hurt in their soul, Komet. I love it so much.
Okay, I have something really important that we need to talk about.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And we were going to do this for bonus podcast, but it doesn't make sense to do it for bonus podcast.
We want all four of us on for this
Yep.
discussion.
What defines an RPG?
Oh god.
we're restarting this?
are.
I mean, I was legit playing a good turn-based RPG. I know it's rare, they haven't made a good one since Fallout 2, but it was a good one. Like, it's Darkest Dungeon, it's brutal, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I've only lost one hero so far,
That's
so
pretty
I haven't
good
felt
for
the...
apparently how long you played.
Yeah, I did like
I know
4
what I'm
quests.
doing.
I started at midnight and then ended at about like 3:30 in the morning without realizing it was so late.
really
I was like,
fun.
oh, I'll edit the podcast.
Right, and
Like, whenever I get done with a round.
But our
crap.
discussion is about, and I really, really, really want everyone who's watching this
Well.
to comment about what they think of it. But what defines a role-playing game?
Albert thinks it has to be turn-based.
Which is, I think, is incorrect.
I've softened on that position somewhat, but the thing is, like, once you say, like, well, it's any game where you play a role as a character, it's like, well, that's nearly every single game.
I don't think any
Yeah,
game where you
because, like, games with
customize
story have
and
that.
make yourself. I don't think that's a role-playing game.
What do you mean you customize and
Like-
make... so Skyrim's not role-playing game?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, you definitely... I mean, that's like...
I guess you're playing
I
the
know, I think
role
you're-
of a character that you created, but
You are customized... Oh, sorry, go
no,
ahead.
I feel like any first-person shooter, you are not playing a role-playing game, and then anything where you like make the character like online GTA, you're not. It's not a role-playing game.
What if you're
See,
playing...
GTA
I
is
could
a
agree
role.
that GTA is a role-playing game whenever you're playing the single
Yes.
player, but not when you're playing multiplayer.
Exactly.
I would say that Skyrim is, though, because all you're doing is basically figuring out the skin that the Dragonborn is wearing.
Okay, yeah,
there's a-
right.
Well,
There's
you
a
also
giant
play the
story
role
there.
of the character that you choose.
Yeah, you can be a dick and not even go on this Dragonborn quest, or you can be a...
Like, the original RPGs were tabletop, and you can always choose your character in a tabletop RPG.
Yeah, like if you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, like it's all custom characters.
Maybe, I don't know.
Is it
I think it's
R-O-L-E or
hard.
R-O-L-L?
ROLE,
ROL,
you're playing
yeah,
a role.
E.
I used to think
Unless
it
you're
was
watching, like,
R-O-L-L
Critical Role
for
or
a
something
long
like that.
time. Because I thought it was just like those things where you clearly had like you have to roll a thing, even if the computer's doing the rolling. And I know that's generally really what's happening inside video games, but like where it was overtly clear to you that a certain number had to be gotten. That's just
And
what I
then-
thought it was.
Here's another thing that we were arguing about is that I think like Tomb Raider and Uncharted is a role-playing game because you're playing the role of those characters, and you guys
Well, I
did
guess
not
my
agree.
point is, if that is a role play, like at some point, if it's like if 90% of all games are role playing games, then it almost doesn't like mean anything to have the words role playing game.
I just think it became the popular game to play because like Tetris is not a role-playing game.
That was
And
the
this-
exact one I was
yeah.
going to use as an example.
And so it's just, I think, how video games have evolved, maybe, and people like playing somebody that they're
I guess
not.
the question is any game with any story elements a role-playing game?
I would say most of the time, yes. Unless
Okay.
you're like doing like XCOM, you're sort of playing a role, but it's a
That's an
turn-based
interesting
tactical
one.
game.
Is that
Yeah.
a role-playing game?
Like
I think almost definitely you got that turn. Well, okay, so there's the form of the role-playing game with the turn-based tactical, figuring out who you're fighting, and you are like most like JRPGs of the old school had you controlling multiple people. So
What do
Yeah.
you think about XCOM?
You are playing the role as the commander.
That is true.
You have a
That's actually who
name.
you are. Actually, I think he's unnamed.
are you actually?
Well, but you're
oh, okay.
you are the commander.
Yes. Commander. What about...
commander.
I just thought of one and I forgot it. So that was one. What did you decide
God,
on?
no!
We're having a much more civil version of this conversation than we did initially.
Yes.
Our
Oh,
initial.
I think we had a lot of disgust to
I'm
get
gonna
through. There was a lot of anger.
It's
a lot of
confusing. The
hatred.
first time someone said Fallout is a role-playing game, which Komet disagrees with,
I'm
but
gonna die.
Tony
I'm gonna
agrees
die.
with.
I'm gonna die. Don't kill me. Jeez.
Well, the thing is, like, there's another thing that feels very roleplay is when you like have a tree that you can upgrade your character on.
Yeah.
No,
Like
see, I
that
don't
seems
think.
like
I don't know.
a classic trope of a role-playing game.
Yeah, but just because elements in a game can have role-playing elements does not mean it is a role-playing game.
Where did...
Well, there's also like all of the story things you can have and companions. I mean, all that stuff feels roleplay to me.
Yeah, plus with Skyrim, you actually have like morality that you can do and all sorts of things. You can decide which faction you want to do. Like you're filling out a role. It's not just a linear storyline.
And I think the same thing in Fallout 4.
Fallout New Vegas, definitely. You are the courier. Fallout 4.
Well, and the
Got
fact
away from
that you
a
get
bit,
like,
but yeah, it's still.
can you if so? There's obviously the original Fallouts are again at least in form role-playing games. You have that very classic top-down. Now you're only playing one character for the most part in Fallout 1 and 2.
Oh,
but you
in
can have
Fallout 1 and
companions.
2, you actually have like a ton of companions, but I guess you're not controlling them. You can kind of set them to be aggressive or to like what weapons you want them to use, but you aren't in control of them.
Right. So the fact that the Fallout games are carrying on at least some form of that tradition, I think makes a difference too.
But okay, so Komet does not see Fallout as a role-playing game.
Does what?
You don't see Fallout.
You Fallout, is it role-playing or not?
It's Fallout 4?
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
I
Let's
guess,
go with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Can you split off a non-role-playing game from a role-playing game? Like, how
I
does
don't know,
that
because
work?
I feel like the beginning of Fallout 4 makes it a role-playing game because you have...
Is Halo a role-playing game?
Yes. You're playing as Master
Even though it's
Chief.
first-person shooter.
You're playing as
Yes,
the Master
there-
Chief. If you're online, Call of Duty is not a role-playing game.
Yeah, that's just like you're literally like
You're
it's
just,
a sandbox or it's a like
Is
arena.
there an
yeah, the role
online
you're
play
playing
that
is
could be role-playing?
You fuck the opponent's moms.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's one of those that you can really do in real life too.
You can really get into the cosplay of it.
Right?
What did you decide on Darkest Dungeon, the classification-wise? I'm glad you like it, by the way. It's a sweet game.
I would say that that's an RPG. It's got a very clear story. Like you're sort of commanding.
Yeah, I
these
guess you
people
are like
and
the.
controlling
Yeah,
them,
you're right.
but-
You're like the heir. Or whatever.
Anytime I ever like that is sort of my go-to for an RPG though, is like all those JRPGs, you're like, you have a party that you're sometimes you are like definitely one of the people in the party, right?
Yeah,
Like they're sort
but
of
you're
the
controlling
mandatory
everyone
person,
else.
but sometimes you're just in charge. Like you're just telling people what to do and not.
I honestly think that the word has different meanings for different people and has over. Like I think Al and I definitely grew up with almost interchangeably ROLL and ROLE is the role-playing game sort of what the word means, because in my
Well,
mind,
there's also that, like the tabletop origins.
yeah, in my mind, I'm pretty much up there with Al as far as like, I mean, I've had this conversation more recently than he has, or less recently, older than he has. Hang on, I'm about to die.
Well, there's also the fact that, like, when you're playing a tabletop game, you can mostly tell when, there's plenty of tabletop games that aren't role-playing games.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
like
Monopoly
checkers,
is
not a role-playing game. Probably
Oh.
not chess either. Like, I mean,
That would
I
get
guess
into
you
the
could
weird-
almost say that Monopoly is because
yeah,
like
or
you're
the shoe or whatever. Like it gets weird.
But that's, I don't know, I feel like there's no story with that, so therefore it's not...
Al, they,
how much story does there have to be?
That's another good question. Like, what about the
I don't
guy in
know.
Outrun? Like, what if you're playing a racing game?
I don't think racing games are role-playing games.
I mean, I agree with you,
No,
but
I
you're a
know that
person
there
in
are
a
some
car.
that definitely are, though.
Well, there's,
where
what
they're
if,
like, it's not
Forza,
just-
where you're like a actual championship driver. Like you go through
Yeah,
a
there's
career
like
mode.
career management racing
I don't know,
games.
it's
Like
splitting
that's
hairs at that
definitely.
point. It's hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just...
They added a role-playing
Just say
version
nobody
of Madden.
cares.
Yeah.
Nobody
really
wants those
cares,
games,
but,
so they don't matter.
Chris just bought it actually.
They actually added like a bunch of role-play elements to Madden football, like in the past few years,
Yeah.
where like you start out as like a high school student, and you've got these big moments, and you have to hit it, otherwise you're not going to get drafted. And
But it
like,
does
all
feel
this
weird
other
to say,
stuff.
"Oh, my
Concussions.
favorite role-playing game is Madden
Oh, absolutely.
2017."
That's
Yeah.
just bizarre sounding. But that, I mean, yeah, if you're doing career mode, that's, I guess. Although you do build your own character, which for Komet is breaking the rules a bit.
Because I feel
then you
like
start
at
to-
that point,
That seems like the
you're
opposite of breaking the rules.
creating-
Like if you are choosing the person you play, you're even more invested in like their story and stuff. I think.
Yeah, like think about how invested you guys got in your D&D characters.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
you
over the
start
course
actually,
of not real. I mean, we didn't play what, more than 20 episodes.
we did 16 episodes, I think. So
Yeah.
about 16, 17 hours of recording.
What about
And, like-
what about Mario? Super Mario Brothers. They're
Yes.
clearly playing as
That's-
Mario.
You're playing as Mario.
But that's
Then there's the question of like, well, Mario's almost like his whole thing, and maybe one of his appeals is that he's like shockingly undefined.
Well, I guess that's the original one, though.
yeah. Well, you say that about all Italians.
Even no, I'm saying this is something I'm stealing from the great book about Nintendo, how Nintendo conquered America that I never shut up about.
That.
But
What's it called?
He got
Super
me to read it.
Mario, how
I was-
Nintendo
I know,
conquered
it's a great
America.
book, but this is approaching.
But one of his points is that like
Gilmore Girls?
Yes.
Mario is like simultaneously weirdly specific because he's a red suited plumber who's Italian,
Yes.
but also like completely generic because like you can't like what is Mario really besides just the hero that goes and saves the girl? Like he's
What?
like the most bland archetype that you could think of.
There's not a lot of morality.
I'm trying to
play.
think if there's any more.
I mean,
I mean, it's
I've
the
seen
most
some people
basic
do-
morality play that there could be. Like, there's no choice. There's no even question. Like, he's gonna go and fight Bowser and save the girl. He's not
I mean,
like
but that-
conflicted
then you're
about it. He
saying
doesn't
that
have
Link
like
is
the
pretty much-
refusal of the call.
Link is bland too, because that's all
Oh,
he
yeah.
does.
Well, Link has
And-
different. I would say by Super Mario Brothers 3, Mario is way more fleshed out, and just as far as his gadgets and stuff. And Link has all his different abilities.
That's also
But
talking about the
still,
evolution
he
of video
said-
games in general
That's true.
before you had time to make these larger stories.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you couldn't have done much more with the original Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers.
And this conversation is not as much fun when we're not screaming at each other.
I am enjoying a warm Coca-Cola, and it's the worst thing
Ew.
ever.
Jesus, that just sounds terrible.
It's horrible.
You're not supposed to do that way, Joe.
Really?
Supposed to have it ice cold.
I took
yeah.
it right out of my refrigerator.
Is your refrigerator not working?
My refrigerator.
It's not running.
Is it running?
Yes.
You know what? Everyone
Yeah.
I've
Why don't
told
you go
this to
catch
has
it?
made that joke, or tried to. One,
I wasn't going for the joke. I legitimately was wondering about your
no, it
refrigerator.
is. My fridge is broken. And I've.
Oh,
Was that
I'm
why you
sorry.
were looking
Stuff.
for fridges?
Yeah. And wait, when was I looking for fridges?
You were
Has
talking
it
about it
thought
when,
about entering the Boston Marathon?
when we were starting our bookkeeping stuff.
Yeah. Yes. It was fridge stuff. That's right. I mentioned it. And then
My dishwasher's broken.
I mean, all the appliances.
I
at this
told her she
place
needed to shape
are
up,
Going.
but-
Good God. Are,
I was about to say, Al, did your wife break her arm or something?
No, this is a true story. My dishwasher won't turn off the heating elements.
So it's just like cooking?
It's an oven in there if you shut the door.
It's a slow
You
cooker.
can make stuff in washers, like
Yeah.
food. People do it often.
Yeah, but it's dangerous if it's happening all the time.
That's true. That's a very nice fire hazard you got there, Al.
You've got this extremely slow-moving bomb. So, are you getting a new dishwasher?
No, I'm washing the dishes.
He doesn't need a new wife.
That's
No,
not the
dishwashing
third time.
is generally my responsibility. My wife does the laundry, I do the dishes.
You do the Your kids aren't doing any of that yet? Not laundry, I guess, but dishes. Do they set the table? Oh, we talked
You
about
know,
They set the table,
they
yes.
cut potatoes real bad though.
this. Terrible. Just absolute. It's the worst.
Terrible. Jeez.
I'll tell him you said that.
Yeah.
Should.
No, you
The
gotta do
mean
is you
lady
just gotta
for
go
my
ahead.
business hates
Yeah.
your cutting skills. I'm only
on the
okay.
bonus podcast.
Okay,
When he
I
has
need
any
to.
idea
Yeah, I need
what's going
to
on.
say
I don't know if I
Al
should-
was being extremely critical towards this little girl that was doing. She was like maybe 2 in the video, and she was doing her own cooking show.
Yeah, it's a
and
2-year-old
Al
cooking show.
was really critical about the whole thing. So we in turn had to be really critical.
She was
about
being
his
fed her
child.
lines from off
Oh
camera.
my
She had all the stuff
A
prepared.
normal level of critical for Al is what I
Yeah,
would say.
but
Yeah.
still, we had to bring him down a notch.
And he happened to have footage of his son cooking, so he railed on his son.
It's on my YouTube channel now, like my personal YouTube, which I don't post that much stuff to, but I do.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't put it
stuff
in the
about
link
my
dump
kids.
because I wasn't sure about that, Al. Figured-
Oh, I don't know. Like, I guess I could get in trouble for letting my son handle a knife.
I don't think so.
I heard about a lady that like got sued by the state for having her son sit out in the car for like 10 minutes when she went in a store,
that's-
and not like in the middle of the summer, just sort of like, all right, sit out here and read a book. I'll be right back. And he's like 10.
Was the car
that's
on?
dumb at like 10.
Yeah, I think so.
I was sneaking into rated R movies at 7.
Childhood is not. Whenever we're discussing the norms, like, I'm the only one who can weigh in, basically, when these conversations. I guess
Only
commit
my
to.
opinion
I
matters.
got like called on the carpet for the fact that I let my kid like play outside sometimes unsupervised, and that maybe he goes in the street.
Yes.
Even though I've told him not to. You guys were like, you let your child play in the street?
No, it wasn't the fact that you let him play in the street. It's the fact that you said that it was like, okay, just because he hasn't been killed yet to play in the street. And so you're like, well, why should he be afraid of it if he hasn't been killed yet? And it's like, because it's dangerous.
I've calculated the danger that is there, and it's
like,
not that bad.
That guy in the movie who saw all the things. It was like, we had one chance. There's only one reality where Albert's kid gets hit by a car. Out of the 12 million that Albert saw.
I mean, technically, there's like an infinite number of realities, so like we've all died by car accident today.
Oh,
Yes.
I believe 100% that I have. There's been at least like 10 times where in a different dimension I have 100% died.
Something weird has happened to me this year in a
Like-
different dimension because there's just been weird. I curse appliances, apparently. This is like a third appliance that's broken down.
Oh no.
It's been odd.
Or it could be like our most recent episode of Bad Ideas, where you're developing spontaneous telekinetic powers.
I think so, yes.
That one. That's.
Speak on the Netherblock. All our other products.
I don't know.
Speaking of things we used to do, a little movie review. I went and saw Venom last night.
Oh, what'd you
How's
think?
that?
It was not bad enough to be like to really rip on.
Okay.
It had some interesting moments.
But also not great, is what I'm hearing.
It's not I enjoyed it. Like, I sat there. First of all, I thought it was going to be longer than it was. I looked it up on Google. I think we talked about this last week, where it was like 2 hours and 20 minutes as the listed runtime, and
Did not feel that
I got
long.
to the part where I assume this isn't a spoiler. You know, like the bad guy is
Just don't assume
being killed
anything.
by the good guy
What?
because he's
Mario?
the bad. Yeah.
Bowser
I say
never
good,
dies.
like in quotation marks or whatever. And I looked at my watch. I was like, "There's only like an hour and 40 minutes that have passed since the beginning of this movie. Has there going to be another
Oh my
hour
god, that
of-
was scary. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know, because I was like,
Another
there's
hour.
no way that they can continue this story for another hour. Like, they've wrapped it up. Please don't tell me there's another hour of Venom. That would be so awkward for them to just keep going with him as a hero, and then, like, no, it did end.
So was the time
The
wrong?
less than
or-
2 hour mark. I guess Google didn't know.
So
Maybe
someone
that
just
40
guessed?
minutes that maybe they were estimating that 40 minutes that Tom Hardy was like mad about that they cut.
That would
Oh my
actually be
God.
funny if it was just one person who was salty that they cut so much out of it. So they're like,
Or if Google just doesn't know anything, you just learn to trust it, and it's just like, I don't know. 2 hours and 30
Yeah, they-
minutes, it's fine.
they just took an average of every superhero movie, and they're like, that's probably right.
No one's gonna actually check this. I'm also wondering what's happening to his head.
Venom himself was
What?
pretty fun though. It was weird.
That's the
They
thing,
actually did a
It's like,
pretty good job with that character.
yeah.
Go ahead.
What's happening?
Don't know. Oh,
Use your words.
I see. She
was slain by an
no, he's
Enderman.
after me!
What the hell happened? I don't know. This thing is terrifying. This thing scared me.
Yeah, this is.
He was like,
The Enderman?
Somebody kill him.
I'm running! He's immune to bows, so screw that.
They're immune to bows?
They
Well,
dodged
that
them.
makes
Yeah,
more
like
sense.
Neo.
they prefer
Also-
Sony.
They aren't going to kill you if you don't look them
don't
in the
look
eye.
them in the
Well,
eye.
I didn't even. He snuck. I don't know what happened. He snuck up on
We'll
me.
see it on the tape.
Where's all my stuff?
It's
Oh my
scattered
God.
throughout the arena, and possibly... No, I don't think I got any of it, actually.
I just need my bow and all the diamond shit that I just made. Oh yeah, the last one I found a bunch of diamonds.
Yes, you did. That ended the episode.
But the thing about Venom is he wants to bite people's head off, but like in the
So-
most adorable way.
Just
I
like
just gotta
slurp the
say that
skin off or what?
there's an Enderman inside the arena right now,
Apparently he's aggroed. And I didn't realize that would last through, like...
being slain.
I guess I didn't die, technically.
You did die.
I just did.
You were slain by an Enderman.
He
Just
died?
now. He's still here.
No, he's
and
still there.
Don't look at him. Don't look him in the eye, and we'll be fine.
It's like whenever you see that guy jerking off in the subway, just don't look him in the eye.
Really, anyone in the subway. He's got
Jesus
his little
Christ.
block. I love it. He's got his little earth block. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I have this.
He did not like me at all. I just looked at him,
Yep.
and he fucking.
So if we spawned like 500 Endermen on top of the dirt block, do you think they'd slowly dismantle it since they're always taking blocks out?
I don't know. We debated
that's
this sort of.
interesting.
Would an Enderman... Or actually, we're going to build a giant Enderman around it. Which I also thought would be pretty funny.
That takes so much wool,
Yes.
but I'd love to see that.
We could build it hollow though. It doesn't have to be solid.
Venom's the
The thing
hero?
about kind of yes. So he's the hero by virtue of being like the less bad of the symbiotes.
Oh.
He also like Eddie Brock is like inside of him trying to hold him back a
Which
little
is
bit.
so stupid because that's not how Eddie Brock is. Eddie Brock is a piece of shit.
Yeah, but they had a few different arcs where Eddie Brock wasn't an entirely huge piece of shit, so they decided they were going to make more money off of that.
Well, I was disappointed. So I'm not coming at this from the perspective of someone who has read a lot of Venom
What is-
comics. So I don't care. Like I don't care how Eddie Brock is supposed to be, but the big sort of beginning of the movie thing that happens to Eddie Brock is that he takes on the big evil businessman and like does his news story despite the fact that people are like, no, he'll like buy out the entire newspaper and have you fired. And he's like, no, I'm gonna expose his bad stuff anyway. And that is like the way they play that, it's like, oh well, you've screwed up your life and you deserve it. It's like, I mean, kind of yes, but also like he was holding to his principles, and the idea that like he's just absolutely beat down by that and almost like has the need to apologize for
Yeah.
having done the right thing at some point.
All journalism majors need to do that.
Yeah.
I was a
He
little bit
basically
miffed by
Snowdened
that because
himself.
if they had made it like where he was some kind of glory hound where he was saying, no, my
That's why
show
it
is the
works.
best.
Yeah. That's why Commit was
But
yelling.
they didn't play like that necessarily. It was just sort of like, nope, this guy's getting people killed. I'm gonna go in and do my thing, and you know the consequences happen. Which I'm not mad that like, you know, the person does a good thing and it doesn't work out for them right immediately. But they never came back to that, and they never came back to the idea that like he sort of abandons his responsibilities as a journalist for a little bit in the movie, and then eventually he's sort of back in revenge mode, essentially, to get back at the guy who fired him, or to had him fired. But they never really deal with his like personal issues of
Hi, Bat.
what happens. You know, why did this happen to me? Was I doing the right thing or not? And like, does he need to make a change?
Make a change.
So he didn't have to actually grow, I guess is what I'm saying,
Yeah,
as a
because
character.
he's a jerk. Because it works better when he's a jerk. But they didn't want to do that. Because they were afraid
Well, it
people
could be,
didn't
he
wanna
could
see
doesn't... he doesn't have to be a jerk at the
It's not
beginning.
even
I
a
think
jerk.
characters...
It's like he's just a dick. He really is.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about other people.
Yeah. And it works better to have the whole storyline works better like that.
Yeah.
Where he's fired.
Well,
but
the
then
whole
he-
storyline works better when they're like, have a love-hate relationship with Spider-Man.
I don't think
but
he has
they
a
don't
love
have
I
hate.
that.
don't think he has a love-hate
He just
relationship.
hates
with
him.
Yeah,
He's
he
jealous
does.
as hell.
Symbiote... So Venom loved... not loved,
Venom.
but like, he was like...
The symbiote or
Venom
Eddie
was-
Brock?
No, I'm talking about this, but the fact that they're together, right? So
You
the
bringing me
symbiote
some
was
quartz?
like, hey, I,
Goes in the quartz box.
you know, I
know,
really
it's a
enjoy
zombies
being
bringing me some
with
quartz.
you as a host.
Thank you, buddy.
And
Or an
Spider-Man's
egg?
like, yeah, but you're creepy, so no.
It's an
and
egg.
leaves him behind. Whereas Eddie Brock is just, like, hates Spider-Man, but he's a good host for Venom, and Venom kind of resents Spider-Man, but, like, there's a whole interesting sort of interplay of emotions there that you can't do because you don't have Spider-Man in the show.
Yeah, that's also weird. That's kind of hard to do a standalone with Venom. Because he's,
But they did I think they did almost as good as they could have.
I guess.
Can I eat an egg? Like a raw
No,
egg?
you can make it into a cake.
No, you can throw it though. You have a 1 in 8 chance of getting a chicken out of it if you throw it at somebody.
Crap.
Or
Because that's how life
or
works.
anything.
Pick.
It'd have to be somebody.
Yeah, but I generally like to throw things.
I'm
at
well
people.
aware of this,
Just-
Tony.
It's just more effective.
Oh, gold-suited zombie.
Gold-suited zombie! Where have you come from?
Suit zombie.
Why did you do that to me?
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Gold-suited Joe.
That's such a... It's a good question they're asking in that song. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from?
Well, I mean, it's a dude who rolls into town and, like, is so sexually attractive that all the women forget about every other guy, so yes,
You know what I
I
was
would
listening
say
to?
it's a good question.
Speaking of,
Yes.
I was listening to
Good talk.
no, it's called
That's what happens in the song.
the Pina
You
Colada
guys
song.
always hate
Yes.
my
That song is
interpretations
really
of songs
sad.
based
It's
on the
about a
actual
guy
words they say.
who's
Yeah.
looking in the classified ads to cheat on his wife, right?
Well, we don't know that they're
Yes.
married.
No, it's his. Well,
His own
guess.
sweet lady.
his
I think,
lady. His all he says is lady. But then,
Do you know the title of this song, Komet?
It's called. It's the Pina Colada song. It's like the.
Okay.
It has a real name.
No, it's called the Pina Colada song, I thought.
No, it's called the like. Oh god.
Just Google it, somebody.
No.
I can't stop. I'm grinding away.
What's the name
I've
of
got
that
so much
website?
Netherblock.
What's the name of that website? Shit. I was gonna make a joke, but now I can't.
PinaColada.com.
Oh, the cheat Ashley Madison.
Ashley
Oh, yeah,
Madison.
it's
Oh,
Ashley
that's
Madison.
Something, insert joke. Alright, I'm
Is
looking
that
it up.
based on, like, the name Ashley Madison? Is that based on anything?
I have no clue.
Probably just her name. She'd be like, I'm gonna name it after myself.
I like
Pretty
cheating,
sure it was,
and I got a southern accent, apparently.
Yep.
Escape.
Escape. That's what it's called.
In parentheses, the Pina Colada song.
Yeah.
If you like pina
Do you think it was called the Pina Colada song at
it's-
the beginning? Or did it take some time for them to be like, guys, it's the Pina Colada song,
What's
guys.
weird is
I love how you can use a carrot to get other carrots. You're like, yeah.
it's like when Tony was using an arm to get other arms.
No, don't do it.
it did not work last night. I was trying to use an arm to like snap off somebody's leg so I could eat the leg later. And it just was not separating. Like you could not get it like fully off the other person or off the torso.
Oh,
God.
you got Tony to play Dwarf Fortress, huh?
You're killing
It
chickens.
was founded in 2002 by Darren Morgenstern with the slogan "Life is short, have an affair."
Yeah.
The name comes
jeez.
from two popular female names in North America, Ashley and Madison. So they just were like, let's find popular women's names.
Oh man, I bet they paid some like advertising agency $50,000 to come up with that.
Right.
And the thing is, like, it probably was worth the money. Like, they probably were gonna call it like cheathookers.com,
Homewreckers.
and that wouldn't have worked out nearly as well.
Hookers.com.
Pigs!
That was Backpage. Backpage.com.
What has happened? No, my pigs are escaping! Oh god.
Never a dull moment. But yeah, it's weird how upbeat the song is. And some people see it as optimistic because it's the whole... I guess he was,
Like, rediscover.
yeah, and if you love something,
Like
let
your
it
relationship?
go, and it turns out, oh, they are perfect for each other. They just hadn't been open with each other yet.
No, don't hoe
Like,
it.
how did
Maybe
he
they're-
not know she liked pina coladas?
He's a bad boyfriend.
Basically.
Maybe she's an
No!
AA and like
For the
didn't want to
love
talk about it.
of Okay.
Do you like pina coladas? But you can't drink them because you drink and drive. And the court said no more. Your lawyer got to
Pig, you're
plea
gonna die.
bargain.
What'd you get for being...
That's amazing. That's why they didn't know anything about each other, because all of the things that they love, they're no longer allowed to do.
Oh, pigs.
What is it? Oh,
Do you like hanging around in playgrounds?
Are you on that
Appear on a
registry?
I
wall.
think I missed something in all the chaos that was happening in my thing.
They've never gotten caught in the rain. They don't do yoga if they have half a brain. They've never made love at midnight. Or if they did, they were like, that was okay. You can't let on that you enjoyed that.
Yeah, that is
yeah.
one where he's like, I really wish we would make love at midnight. She's thinking the same
They've kept
thing.
this a secret.
But they won't
Bad
tell each other.
communication.
I can't think of anything worse than making love at
I
midnight.
feel like the health food one would be kind
Like
of...
you're just so tired at that point.
the health food
Like
one.
you've been up since 6
At
o'clock
some
that
point,
morning,
they're
and
gonna
you're
be
like,
like, you also are eating 6 chili cheese dogs for breakfast? I guess you don't like
we've been
health
up for
food.
18 hours. Let's have sex now.
Sometimes you just gotta get it out, Al.
Oh my god, you know what? Maybe they did, but they were blackout drunk, and they were just like...
Yeah. They're like, I don't even remember if we had sex at
That was
midnight.
before all those dead kids.
It's like, you have to sleep in the wet spot, though.
Why aren't you dead?
Oh boy.
Probably because he didn't drink enough pina coladas.
Actually, tearing up. That's an amazing concept. How the hell did you not know it? Even if it's the basis of your personal ad, and you'd have no idea if, like, my god. Dude, you're a terrible boyfriend. And she also was not exactly very open in the relationship. This is a weird diamond pattern. I didn't think they could connect like this.
Ooh, you getting diamonds?
Yeah, but I've never seen
The
this.
interesting thing is, like, they were the only people in the town that liked pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Like, he didn't get any more.
Everyone else was like, no,
responses.
me dummy. Me like peanut drink, but me no smart.
See, like, that's like half of Tinder profiles in this town is about pina coladas and rain. It's like, come up with something original, goddammit.
Oh.
Maybe, no, but, like, people... I don't think that's accurate, because what if you're, like... You know, people tend to like basically the same
That's
things.
the thing. It's I'm just as happy with a night out of the town as I am in my pajamas watching Netflix. That's every profile.
Well, I mean, I'm the
I'm
same.
actually more happy in my pajamas watching Netflix.
I know, but
I would say that, but I'm so freaking bored of being at home all the time that it's like, please.
You have kids. You won't be bored anymore.
Yeah, no. See, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I had this moment, and it was a little moment, and this happens to women, where I was like, I should have children, and then I was like, no, I haven't even
Well,
had a
purpose to
chance
your life.
in my life to be selfish for myself. No, am I going to get a kid? Because then it's completely gone. I have no choice at all, ever, to be able to be selfish. So, not yet, I say.
No, you can be selfish as a parent. It's just you're not a good parent.
how
Yeah, but you
selfish
have
are we
something
talking?
like that will hopefully outlive you that you're working on.
Yeah, but that's not.
You're building something that's bigger than yourself. It's a legacy.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, one day, yes, one day.
Well,
but
the
just-
longer you wait, the less like.
Yeah,
you don't have
who's gonna
forever.
have children with me? It's not that
I don't know,
simple.
somebody else who's not selfish.
You'd have children with Kmet. Leave it in comments. Like and subscribe.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I am so sorry, Komet.
I was gonna ask how-
That's not what I was going.
If
I've just been thinking a lot about sort of what I think is the attitude of our generation, where they're like, it's all about like you're not gonna. At a certain point, you're not gonna be happy if it's just about about you. You gotta
No, but
you gotta go out there and do something hard.
The point that I'm making is that I'm younger than them. I'm 26 years old, but I have had a life in which I have not really have the luxury to be selfish. I haven't traveled. I haven't done things for myself. I've basically been on survive mode my entire life. So if I were to have a child
Welcome
right
to like
now,
5,000 years of human history or longer.
I've traveled.
I mean, you're not wrong.
See, there's
I
some
just
there's some
don't want my
inaccuracies from Al.
life
It's 200,000 minimum, but you know,
what?
to.
Al going
She's
young
not
Earth
ready to have
creationist on us
kids
for a
yet. It's a
minute.
thing that happens. Albert's a little on the far end of the spectrum of that.
I knew I wanted to be a father all my life.
Well, I
I've
want
said
to.
that many
Don't get
times
me
before.
wrong. I want to be a mother, but I also don't want to be a single mother. And that involves finding a partner that's actually gonna stick around. Like, look at my history with men. Please tell me that it was a good idea to have any children with
Well,
any
that's
of
a
them.
whole different...
All right, let's go through them. I guess.
Okay.
Let's just open up Komet's relationship book. What do we see there?
Yeah, this is going in a direction that I'm not...
No, I want to hear it. I want some dirt now that that's been said. It hasn't
I've
been...
had a total of 4 boyfriends, which is pretty good. I've only slept with not that many people. Right. So I have yet... Oh, I found iron. I have yet to find...
I've had...
I don't know, a single person that's willing to commit. I grew up in a family that my parents divorced when I was very young, and that sucked because they stopped taking care of us at a certain point, and I don't want that for my children, period.
I could see that. I'm trying to think of how many girlfriends I've had that I would consider actual girlfriends.
I think I've had 5 total that I would consider like actual girlfriends.
3.
I spent my entire dating life like looking for a wife, so
yeah,
I don't know.
That's
that was why I was dating. If I wasn't if I wasn't interested in marrying you, I wouldn't be.
I mean, I think that's how everybody
relationship.
is, but you don't find the perfect person.
Well, no, you marry the imperfect one, and they get
No,
you
don't.
also.
They don't. No, I get that, but is imperfect somebody that cheats on you? Is imperfect somebody that like completely takes advantage and all that stuff? You know, like I don't know.
Is that literal? Like my world is not full of those people.
Well, your world is a small town in Florida.
Okay.
How do you crouch?
Well, move to Milton, Komet.
No.
Apparently, there's lots of good guys here.
Yeah, but they're boring.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta do something that's boring every once in a while, Joe.
No.
And men my age, Al, they don't want to get married.
That's awesome.
Like millennials it's not a thing.
I got married when I was 23. You're at my age does not work on me. I'm sorry, it's not true.
Yeah, but that's
no. I'm talking about my generation.
Read the book Boys Adrift.
How old are you?
I already said I'm 26.
Okay, I'm like 33. I am not that much older than you. They were saying the same stuff about my generation.
Yeah, that's more of a regional thing. Again, I believe that's small town Florida versus...
It was just... I don't know.
Yeah, college town, Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
I would love
there's a lot
for
of the
somebody...
girls that are like that are as well. It's like the girl that I like most right now is like, don't get attached. And it's like, you, why? I actually like you.
Well, I like most went back with her ex-boyfriend.
Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks.
Sorry.
This is turning into a very strange...
I would absolutely adore for somebody...
Do you like pina coladas and getting called
What's your answer to that, Albert? Huh?
I would...
I think you like whiskey and stuff. I'm not sure.
I like whiskey. But in response to what Albert said is like, I've only dated girls that I thought I would have a chance at a full-on future with. Like, I was with a girl for like 5 years and everything. Like, if I'm dating somebody to the point where I actually call them my girlfriend, it's because I think there could be a future there and we're just testing it out for a little bit.
I agree. And like all 4 of my boyfriends have been extremely long relationships. Like, I've pretty much been dating for the last 10 years straight, and that's one boyfriend. It's bad. I don't think it's very healthy. It's one for 3 years, the next one for 3.5 years, the next one for another 3 years.
How do you get all the way through that and then like after 3 years be like, well, it didn't work out?
Because they're pieces of shit. Like,
were they the whole time though? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is there something you're missing?
I think it's something where I'm trying to make it work so hard, and then finally years later I realize, okay, this is not. If the other person isn't trying, then it's not worth it.
Al, have you ever?
It's also the point where after 2.5 years or so, like the 18 months to 2.5 years is whenever like romantic love starts to fade and platonic love takes over the relationship. Yeah. And if you founded your like relationship mostly about the romantic love and not the platonic love, that means you're probably not going to be as compatible over the long term.
And
that's why a lot of those relationships start to fade.
Or not. I founded my relationship on we're married and like
Al, has it
Getting
ever occurred
divorced
to
is
you that you
difficult.
actually got incredibly lucky with your wife?
No.
Yeah. You are an incredibly lucky person
He's
that you
also
are
said
happily
that
married.
he's settled, like, multiple times.
Yeah,
So-
but I don't think Albert understands. I mean, things could have gone wrong. Are there no ruined relationships in your world? I guess I'll say, like around town or like in your like.
You're around town. Like, yeah, Brantley's had some real bad experiences. He's my best friend.
So you are aware that.
told me about.
I think you discredit just how lucky you got in some ways too.
Ooh, obsidian. How do I get obsidian?
Okay.
You need a diamond pickaxe, and it's when water meets lava.
Right, I found it. I have a diamond pickaxe. But won't the
It just
water
takes a
wash
little
it
while.
away?
If you do it wrong, you can end up killing the obsidian, but
And yourself. But that's with everything in Minecraft.
yeah.
Also, Albert,
I am very thankful for what I have in life.
okay.
I'm not.
I understand that. I know you're sort of snarky for snarky's sake at times.
I got a lot of nether laid today.
What? Who happened? Who?
I said I've laid a lot of nether today. This has been
I laid
productive.
a lot of nether, and I actually dug up a lot of diamond. I'm gonna hide it from Tony.
Hey, I haven't stolen diamond in a long time.
That's true.
You were gonna help Komet steal diamond last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was
But it
sort
wasn't-
of a tongue-in-cheek thing.
It was.
Reason for my
Hopefully.
response.
Maybe.
Yeah, like
You
I
never know.
mainly just have to remind Joe that sometimes I can find where he stashes it.
Oh, there's a hole.
I don't hide it very well.
Yeah, you only hide our
Oh,
gold
I
well.
flooded something on accident. I don't know where I am now. Shit.
I had something to say to
like a
Albert. I
lip-
forgot what it was.
That's like a libertarian nightmare. You forgot where you buried the gold.
No, it's safe. It's the safest gold you'll ever hear about. It's like that clan that has the giant wheels out at sea that they use for commerce.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, well, what?
The giant stone discs.
Tune in next time when Joe explains what stone discs
All right,
he's
I'll
talking
put
about.
That on the well, no, the bonus podcast list is so weird now because I might not be there when it comes up.
We need to have different colors for the stuff that we put on there.
That sounds fine. Or don't talk. I could just put a note. Don't talk about this without Joe. I'll do that.
If you'd like to hear about the bonus podcast, you can find it by becoming a Patreon over at patron. I'm sorry, over at patreon.com/humanechoes. Check us out. Help support the cool stuff that we make. And also, if you're on YouTube, and I don't know how else you would be seeing this, you should click that like and subscribe button.
Oh, yeah,
so
I
that
forgot
you
to tell you, over on VidMe, they've just been uploading these and claiming that they are us.
I was gonna say.
Again, sorry. If you got this anywhere other than rifftracks.com, wait, that joke doesn't
if you're
track
seeing
for
this somewhere
like
other than
90
YouTube, that's impressive. Seek help.
Somebody's re-uploading our entire library to Daily Motion. It's Alex Jones.
And the frog's gay.
Bye, guys.
Oh, wait,
Bye,
is that
everybody.
it? Oh, okay, bye.
We're actually over.
Remember, if you like what you've been watching, you can become a member over at Patreon right now. The link is right in your face, and you will get all kinds of cool stuff.